Welcome to the Real Crime Diary Daily Dose of Crime. What happens when a mother's frantic 911 call turns into a nation's worst nightmare? Today, we dive into the shocking case of Quentin Simon, a toddler whose disappearance and murder left investigators baffled and a community in disbelief. Brace yourselves for a tale of deception, betrayal, and a search for justice that will keep you on the edge of your seat. On the morning of October 5th, 2022, a call to 911 shattered the peace of a quiet Georgia neighborhood. Leilani Simon, a young mother, frantically reported her 20-month-old son Quentin missing. Her voice trembling, she told the dispatcher that she had woken up to find their front door open and her toddler gone. In an instant, a normal day transformed into a parent's worst nightmare. Police arrived at the scene, combing through the house and surrounding area for any sign of the missing child. As news of Quentin's disappearance spread, the community rallied together, organizing search parties and posting flyers with the boy's picture. Days turned into weeks as investigators pursued every lead, hoping against hope for Quentin's safe return. But as time passed, suspicions began to grow. Little did anyone know that this desperate search would uncover a truth more horrifying than anyone could have imagined, leading to a tragic conclusion that would shock the nation. As the desperate search for little Quentin Simon stretched on, investigators began to notice troubling inconsistencies in Leilani's account of that fateful morning. Her story seemed to shift with each retelling, raising red flags for the seasoned detectives working the case. Enter Daniel Youngkin, Leilani's ex-boyfriend and a key figure in this unfolding mystery. In a surprising turn of events, Youngkin agreed to cooperate fully with the FBI. He consented to have a hotel room wired with cameras and microphones, allowing agents to eavesdrop on his private conversations with Leilani. These recorded interactions proved to be a goldmine of information. Youngkin, clearly troubled by the situation, pressed Leilani about her late-night excursion to get Orajel. Her response was defensive and combative, further fueling suspicions. But perhaps most revealing were the text messages exchanged between the former couple. They painted a picture of a relationship in turmoil, with Leilani expressing deep resentment and even contemplating suicide. These messages, along with a video she had made addressing Youngkin, shed light on her fragile emotional state in the days leading up to Quentin's disappearance. As investigators dug deeper, more questions arose. Why had Leilani failed to mention her midnight drug run in her initial statements to police? And what exactly transpired in those crucial hours before she reported her son missing? As the investigation deepened, a series of shocking revelations came to light, painting a disturbing picture of Leilani Simon's life leading up to Quentin's disappearance. Evidence of drug use emerged, casting a shadow over her ability to care for her children. Text messages revealed a tumultuous relationship with her boyfriend, Daniel Youngkin, filled with accusations of infidelity and emotional manipulation. Perhaps most chilling were Leilani's internet searches just days before Quentin vanished. She had looked up whether it was common for mothers to feel resentment or anger towards their children. This unsettling query raised serious questions about her state of mind and relationship with her son. Surveillance footage placed Leilani's car near a mobile home park in the middle of the night, contradicting her initial statements to police. When confronted, she changed her story, claiming she had gone to buy drugs after a fight with Youngkin. This admission not only exposed her dishonesty, but also her priorities on the night before her son disappeared. Text exchanges with a drug dealer named Craig revealed a sexual relationship, adding another layer of complexity to Leilani's already chaotic life. The prosecution argued that these elements combined to create a perfect storm of instability and resentment that ultimately led to Quentin's tragic fate. After weeks of exhaustive searching, the worst fears of investigators and the community were confirmed. On November 18, 2022, the remains of little Quentin Simon were discovered in a landfill. This grim finding marked a turning point in the case, transforming it from a missing person investigation to a homicide. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community and brought a heartbreaking end to the hopes of finding Quentin alive. Law enforcement had tirelessly combed through mountains of garbage, driven by the determination to bring closure to this tragic case. With this new evidence in hand, the authorities moved swiftly. On November 21st, Leilani Simon, Quentin's mother, was arrested. The case against her culminated in a grand jury indictment on 19 charges. These charges painted a damning picture of Leilani's alleged actions. The indictment included the gravest charge of murder, suggesting that Leilani was directly responsible for her son's death. Additionally, she faced charges of concealing a death, a chilling accusation that she had attempted to hide her son's body. The indictment also included 14 counts of lying to investigators, indicating a pattern of deception throughout the investigation. This development marked a significant shift in the case, setting the stage for a trial that would captivate the nation and seek justice for young Quentin. The trial of Leilani Simon began with a powerful opening statement from prosecutor Tim Dean. He painted a chilling picture of betrayal, telling the jury that 20-month-old Quentin Simon was killed by the very person who should have protected him most, his mother. Dean alleged that in the early morning hours of October 5th, Leilani murdered her son and then drove his body to a dumpster where she callously threw him away like trash. The prosecutor delved into the events leading up to that fateful night, describing a troubled woman feeling unloved and neglected. A key piece of evidence presented was a 4-minute suicide video Leilani had made, addressed to her boyfriend Daniel Youngkin. In it, she tearfully lamented their lost love and complained about feeling rejected. The video ended with a haunting plea for Youngkin to take care of her kids. Dean went on to describe Leilani's evolving story in the weeks following Quentin's disappearance. He highlighted her failure to disclose a late-night drug buy to the police, suggesting this cocaine purchase made her angry and impulsive, ultimately leading to Quentin's murder. While the exact cause of death remains unknown, Dean pointed to a damning statement Leilani allegedly made to police. "I don't know if I did something to him. If I did, I will take responsibility." In stark contrast, the defense kept their opening statement brief. They challenged the prosecution's narrative, suggesting that the bold conclusions drawn by the state might not stand up to scrutiny. They urged the jury to keep an open mind as the evidence unfolds. As the trial continues, the question remains, will the prosecution be able to prove their claims beyond a reasonable doubt? The search for truth in this heartbreaking case has only just begun. As the trial progressed, a mountain of evidence began to paint a disturbing picture of the events surrounding Quentin's disappearance. Leilani's own words became her worst enemy, as her statements to investigators were riddled with inconsistencies and outright lies. One of the most damning pieces of evidence came from Leilani's internet search history. Just days before Quentin vanished, she had searched, "Is it common for a mother to have resentment or even anger towards her child because of the father or another reason?" This chilling query raised serious questions about her state of mind and her feelings toward her young son. Surveillance footage emerged as another crucial piece of the puzzle. Cameras captured Leilani's car near a dumpster in the early hours of October 5th, the very day she reported Quentin missing. This sighting directly contradicted her initial claims about her whereabouts that night. Text messages and recorded conversations revealed a web of deception. Leilani had initially failed to disclose a late-night drug purchase, only admitting to it when confronted with evidence. Her attempts to cover her tracks only served to deepen suspicions about her involvement in Quentin's disappearance. Perhaps most telling were the moments when Leilani's facade cracked under questioning. In one emotional outburst, she referred to Quentin in the past tense, saying, "He was my happy baby," long before any confirmation of his fate. This slip of the tongue spoke volumes to investigators and jurors alike. Despite the mountain of circumstantial evidence presented in this case, many questions still linger, haunting both investigators and the public. Perhaps the most glaring mystery is the exact cause of little Quentin's death. The prosecution admits they can't tell the jury how the toddler died, leaving a crucial piece of the puzzle missing. What exactly transpired in those early morning hours of October 5th? Did Leilani Simon, in a drug-induced state, commit an unthinkable act? Or was there more to the story that we haven't uncovered? The full truth of that fateful night may forever remain shrouded in uncertainty. As the trial progresses, we're left to wonder if justice can truly be served when so many details remain in the shadows. As we wrap up today's episode, the tragic case of Quentin Simon continues to unfold in court, reminding us of the devastating impact of crimes against children. This heartbreaking story serves as a stark reminder of the complexities involved in such cases. As the trial progresses, the search for truth and justice for little Quentin goes on. We'll continue to follow this case closely, bringing you updates as they develop. Until next time, stay safe and remember to hold your loved ones close. Power, Pleasure, and Pain. A study of abuse through time. This book provides a detailed examination of how sexual violence and power dynamics have manifested across different historical periods, from ancient civilizations to the modern era. It explores how figures in positions of power used their influence to manipulate and exploit others, showing that the patterns of abuse we see today have deep historical roots. Many people struggle to grasp why abuse of power, particularly sexual violence, persists in modern society. By connecting historical events with contemporary cases, the book offers crucial insights into why such behaviors remain prevalent. The book analyzes infamous cases such as those of Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and Dominique Pellicotte, drawing parallels between them and historical figures. This section highlights how the systemic abuse seen in recent times is not a new phenomenon, but part of an ongoing cultural issue. Through the lens of these modern examples, readers will gain a better understanding of how institutions, wealth, and power have historically shielded perpetrators from justice, contributing to their ability to continue harming others. The book explores the philosophy of libertarianism, particularly through the works of Marquis de Sade, to explain the disturbing ways in which pleasure, power, and cruelty have been intertwined. This provides readers with a deeper philosophical context to interpret modern-day scandals. Unlike other studies that focus solely on historical or contemporary cases, this book uniquely blends both, offering a full spectrum of how abuse is tied to power dynamics. It stands out by making philosophical connections that help readers understand the deeper societal issues at play.